Hello there, and welcome back to episode 12 of my tutorial series for Rimworld Biotech. So, in the last couple of episodes, we have made ourselves a home here quite nicely. Everything's working out decently, and I think it's about time to go today for some risks. Going to introduce a little bit of the rating system here today. And the other thing that I had on my mind was when we have researched the blowback operation completely, we're going to take a little bit of a detour into the noble apparel section. And I want to set up a royal abode for our Lord and Savior Rowley, because I don't want to let her to be a yeoman forever. Shouldn't call her Lord then. Lady Rowley. That's more like it. So Lady Rowley will need her own living room. She'll also need a throne room. So there's a lot of things that we need to do to satisfy the needs of that pigskin lady. So that's pretty much what I have in store for today. So let's get started. On the world map, we have certain areas which we can perform raids on. These areas here. The wonderful thing about these little things here is they are most of the time made by superficial factions that don't really exist here. So faction Moix Squoink, yeah. And if you check these out, all right, these are of a real faction, so they're already hostile to us. Sometimes these camps are belonging to friendly people, so you gotta be careful about that. But if it's a faction that doesn't exist here on the list, which happens quite often, faction Jorm, I think these are, yeah, here. This is a non-existing faction. You can rate those people, it doesn't matter. So what we're going to do, we're going to visit those folks here because they got steel, and there's no such thing as too much steel in this game. So first off, we're going to form a caravan, and then it's going to be quite similar like when we were trading, just, well, without the trading part. So I'm going to pick up Satit because I want to feature a bit of the... Well, I don't know. Does he have... Can I do something with him? Give me a sec. So, yeah, we got the animal work call. Because I wanted to feature the specials of the Itakin, and therefore we're going to get him to this encounter here. And we will, of course, bring Cobb. Yeah, that's a good idea. And Benjamin. So we have people with guns and one dude with a bow. So the next really important thing is that we get ourselves animals with carrying capacity. As you see here in this table, there's a amount of carrying capacity that comes when we add these animals to our caravan. If we would be adding lambs or whatever, they wouldn't carry stuff. Some animals can do that, some can't. You find that here on this section here, if it's a pack animal or not. So, since we will be raiding quite some steel, it's going to be important to have the carrying capacity for that. And my personal recommendation, whenever you go for an encounter like that, bring some good medicine, because you never know what'll happen. Sometimes really horrible things happen while you had a great idea, and at the end of the day, it saves lives to just have some good medicine on you. Because the thing is, the better the medicine, the more wounds can be tended in one go, and that's, that can make all the difference. So we also have cows here, so somebody pointed out that we should limit the total amount of these as well. Here we're going to go for a similar setup. I want a lot of female animals and not too many male animals, and we're going to keep it like that. So for now, the situation is quite well. Our raiders are needing a while until they get out. Cobb was still having a lunch and now is going on out. Whenever you assign caravans like these, by all means, assign them early at the day, because I made the experience that it just takes a damn long time sometimes for them to just pack up their stuff and leave town. Okay, so when we check out the world map now, they're walking over there, and we're being attacked by the Moik Skoink people. There's a counter raid, so I'm not too worried about that because I do trust my defense arrays, but nevertheless we're going to draft our dudes. You know, you never know if anybody of them will pour through, and therefore we better be careful. You know, we better be careful. So. First dude succumbs to the traps. That's a very good sign. And let's see how that'll play out. Alright. Pigskin are quite pain resilient, and therefore they take more traps than other people to get downed. So, well, I want to see if I can't gun down Sammy here. It might be only a poor revolver, but, oh yeah, boy. Yeah, there we go. The good revolver and a good machine pistol. That was quite the haul. So, let's see. A possum can get that revolver. And, well, let's see. Rowley as a brawler. I don't want to give her something that makes her unhappy. Okay, nice. So, mission accomplished. We have left no survivors. I mean, technically we could save that dude, but he's already lost a leg, and there's not that much of a benefit there. Basically, if I'd be interested in making friends with this faction, this would be paying off. But since I'm not doing it. We're just instead raiding their place now. So we get on over there, and we have that little facility. They even got themselves a turret. Nobody told me that they got a turret. That's bad. But we don't need to worry too much about that, I hope. And so, turrets are a problem insofar as they have quite a high range. So we have to walk all the way around there. Because if we'd be attacking on that flank, we'd be being pelted by bullets by getting just that close up. Instead, I'm going to attack from this angle. Way more safety, and we don't need to hustle around with those with that gun turret there. I'm not sure how we're going to deal with that whole gun turret thing. We probably can take cover here and destroy the solar panel. We'll see about that. First off, let's take care of the enemies there. So there's sadly no wild animal in the vicinity. These two guys, well, they are not too well equipped. So that's some good news. And let's get started. So Satit has the longest range weapon, and he's also the best shot in our squad. So we're going to use his him as an entry here. And now let's scatter and do the kiting game again. I'm spreading out my people like that, so I can totally see where this guy is headed. So, and the enemies are already disbanding, you know. Tony is already trying to get away there. 91 years. Jeez. Cataract, hearing loss, frail. Kind of like feel bad about these at this point. So, let's see. That guy has a drill arm, though. Oh, my. So, would be actually a good candidate for capturing, but we're not down for that today. Okay, but the good news here, we can replace Satit's bow with a machine pistol. That's much better. An actually real weapon. So the next step is a little bit ungrateful, but I think we have to do it nevertheless. So let's see. Ah, yeah, perfect. So here we can reach the solar panel without reaching the turret being able to reach us. That's pretty good. You could also dismantle the solar panel, but basic idea of what I'm doing here is we're going to try and cut the power supply of that thing here. There we go. So technically you could now wait until the battery run dry. One thing you could do. Usually I bring long-range guns that just outrange the turret, and that just does the trick. In this scenario, I somehow forgot about that. So instead of waiting now forever, we're going to go and destroy that battery. It's a little bit sad. I love to loot those batteries at the same time, but, well, not this time. So let's see. We're going to go not for the turret this time, but instead we're going for the battery. That has a reason. So here we go. The thing here is, and that's a really cool thing, we have now claimed a turret. So, oh yeah, let's claim those beds right away too. And the turret. That was the entire interest of mine. So we're going to put Satit into the bed, since we have plundered some. And let's see who's the best medical person here available. Doesn't look too good, eh? Well, Cobb is at least interested, so we're going to tend Satit there. And I want to check on out what's inside the box. So if you destroy the power supply to those turrets, you can... Wait a sec, Benjamin, why are you dropping your gun? That was nothing I approved. When you cut the power supply to those turrets, you can just plunder them instead of destroying them. And that's a dirty, cheap way of getting helping yourself to early game turrets way before you have the technology for that. The next thing that I like to do here is I like to check out the mountainsides, whether or not there's any valuable minerals visible. Sometimes I found gold even on these, so it's really worth check. But here we aren't that lucky. Okay, so mission accomplished. We reform the caravan now, head back home, and now it's time to pick up the loot. Make sure that everybody is included into the caravan there. And we pack up the steel, we pack up the components, we pack up the mini turrets. We also pack up the steel slag chunks because we can process them later. And beyond that, I'm not picking up any of the tainted clothing. Oh yeah, look at those standing lamps, why not? And steel urn, well, we can't produce them ourselves. We could now pick up even those steel gibbet cages, but I don't want to go that far. That fire foam popper though, that really is rocking it. So you could pick these up. They are also steel sources, but I don't want to overdo it, because the carrying capacity of my caravan is, check this out, so it's 0.5 days now, and 0.4 days now. So, yeah, well, I'll tell you what, it's such a low investment, I want that. Alright, blowback operation has been researched in the meantime at home, so we're going to go for that. And another thing that bothers me here is that we have very, very valuable things here rotting in the rain. Alright. So, research. Let's go for noble clothing. Because... Whoa, 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 whoa. Alright, the Moik Squoink people are back again. So this is going to be a lot more dramatic, because our cavalry is half a day away, and these guys hit us while we are practically out of traps. But the good news is they come as preparers, so we can kick up some defense there. All right. It's sad that we have to fight this during the rain, but let's see what we can do. All right, so that's a pretty rough schedule of raids today. Very low frequency. So, Vunas, alright, Opossum is the dude with the construction orders. My idea now is I want to create as many traps as possible before this attack hits town. Because that's my biggest hope right now. To just make sure that we kill off as many attackers as possible with those traps. So that's a little bit of a micromanagement hurdle now. I have to take care that Vunas and Gray are still chopping them trees, and at the same time I must take care that a possum is staying on the job with those traps, so... But it's totally worth it. Alright. Because I think every one of these traps really will give us a good chance of getting further with this attack. There we go. Let's keep going like that. So, it's not only the enemy preparing for this attack. No, we are preparing as well. Alright. So, I do have on Vunas another constructor as well, so I'm going to send her to construct some more wooden traps there as well. I'm just going to try to find some traps that aren't colliding with the possum's work order there. So, alright, so, well, let's see how that'll play out. We only have so much time left. I hope it's going to be enough for that trap to be finished. Probably even both, that would be really dope. But I can't really see that. I don't really see that coming. Alright, but the first one, that really will happen. Alright, it's a bit of a tense situation here, not gonna lie. But, well... Looks like we might be here on a bit of a tight schedule, but it works out swimmingly. Nice. Alright, so let's check out how far the cavalry is away. So these dudes have 0.2 days of time until they come. So that's a little bit longer than we actually want to, but it's not going to be that much of a big problem. I already know how to deal with this. So, in situations like these, I'm going to use Rolly now as the frontliner, and basically everybody who gets around the corner will need a face full of Rolly. And since she's not that much of a... she ain't a horrible melee fighter, so here we go. We're going to order the other folks on top of this guy. And I use Gray now as a blocker. There we go. So here we go. Switching the fire because Nookfur now has left cover. So that's very, very desirable. Alright, first guy is down. Rolly is a bit in a pickle here, but as a pigskin, Rolly is extremely robust, so we're going to continue that. Gray here, in the meantime, has a very, very ungrateful job. But here's the deal. Gray is being punched by Ray with his gun. This is way less deadly than being shot by the gun. So, basically, this is way better than insisting on letting this guy shoot, you know? That's the basic idea behind my job here. So, we're going to let those guys run away. I don't mind. We are well off. Rolly got 2 shots. Gray only got... Alright, yeah, Rimworld things. For some odd reason, this destroyed the entire arm. You are never safer. Things like that. Can't happen. So, basically, Gray's work... all that does is that Gray's work speed is now reduced by 50%, which is a little bit unfortunate to say the least, but, well, we cannot change that. What's really important is that we bandage up our hero there. Keep in mind that this is a highly unlikely outcome. You know, that doesn't happen too often that you lose an arm while being punched by a gun. That was very, very unlucky. Usually you don't get a roll like that, but sometimes you just do. Mutilations and maimings are part of the game, and I personally am not much of a big fan of that part of Rimworld, but it's just part of that. You got to research your prosthetics, and then you're good to go. Until then, we just have to accept that Gray now is only at 50% working capacity. Benjamin! So I'm not entirely sure what he was destroying there, but, well, I don't mind either. Okay, so we came back home. The tantrum there was mostly because caravans tend to leave your people recreation starved. That's just a thing. I haven't found a good way yet to alleviate that problem in a meaningful way. But, yeah. So, here we go. There's the gibbet cages. But most importantly, there's the mini turret. So that turret would have been already a really, really big help there in the last situation. But it was a typical Randy situation there, being attacked in such a short succession twice. That's a typical Randy thing. But that also showed me that it's about time to put up security measures here. I mean, at the end of the day, it was, well, we were raided while we were raiding, so it's not as if our defenses are super bad or anything. And the first raid was was a piece of cake to be fought off. So all in all, I feel like we are at an okay spot, but we need to work on that in the future. So let's uninstall all those torch lamps because they are just out of time. You know, we are no primitives anymore. It's the age of the standing lamp, and I've fought a bloody battle to get those, to get that steel. So let's make sure we use that steel. By the way, steel. Ha, there's a steel urn. Steel urns are among my favorite items. They just have a nice innate beauty rating. I'm going to show you once that thing has been installed. And they also come as something that you cannot build yourself. You can only loot urns. I don't know why that's the case, but it is the case. So, fun stuff. Alright, our animals are getting the potatoes again, but that's okay for me. Once the hay grass thing is finally finished, we're going to. We're going to spread that through the colony, through the animals' pens. So I'm now exchanging everything in here with electric light. It does take some investment in terms of steel, but, you know, we got solar, we got wind. We really don't need to worry about anything in that regard anymore. So we also have stocked up on horses now, but I think our horses... Yeah, we only got stallions, so we don't need to manage any auto-slaughtering there. But we also have a breeding pair of muffalos, so we have to check this out as well. So we go for the same formula here. Lots of female animals, a low amount of male animals. There we go. So what we're looking for in the next time now is some sort of prosthetic for Gray. I've had many people severely maimed in the over the course of my gameplay, so don't feel too alarmed by that. It's a nuisance. It's a bit in this game. It's really just a nuisance. It might sound a little bit wild to call it just a nuisance when somebody loses an entire limb, but it is like that. Alright, we got the noble clothing. Let's go further down the road with gas operation, because chain shotguns are just the thing I want to construct as soon as possible. Chain shotguns are, in my opinion, one of the best early game guns. One of the best early game guns in the game. And they keep their value over the entirety of the game, even. That's the best part about it. Alright, so we don't have any power supply in the rec room yet, so let's change that. Little by little, we're spreading the power supply over the entirety of the map, or base. And the only thing that I haven't done now for this episode is to decide where Rolly will have her apartment. It's going to be a little bit of a harder thing because I want to have her apartment as safe as possible. So we're going to go probably for something like that. Let's take Slate, why not? And we're going to make that a bit of a larger thing. Here we go. Large apartment. Because your nobles, they really want to have that. And also, by all means, we really need somebody on the plant duty. So Vunas, top priority. Chop chop. I know that I did that so she can do more construction, but, well, there's just too much field work not getting done these days. Alright, so here we go. And let's use our young man's workforce here. People that have no passion for construction are a little bit annoying to begin with because they learn so slow, but I've had many high-ranking constructors in my colonies that never had a knack for it or any passion, so that's totally okay. What's not so okay is the fact that we're again out of timber, so I really want to change that. My timber stockpiles were so low, I didn't even have enough to make a door. That's a bad thing. I don't like that. There we go. So let's give Vunas a little bit of a micromanagement torture there. But we need that, you know? There we go. So the slavers that came on by left a bison wool bowler head, and we got an opportunity to host 2 prisoners for the next 15 days. We could receive a substantial amount of honor for that. Tell you what, we're going to do that. Simply because it's also about time for Rolly to get into the nobility levels for real. So, let's do this. First of all, though, I want to continue with that apartment thing. So, right now, we won't be stressing ourselves out too much here. So let's see, we got granite chunks, but I'm going to prepare this place to be a really valuable apartment in the long run. So that means we're going to think about some really nice flooring. We're not going to go for a regular flooring, we're going to go for a fine flooring. So you can either go for fine flooring made out of wood. I really don't know if they, let's see. Considered fine. Yeah. What's really important is that this checkmark is up there. Considered fine, suitable for royalty. That's what you have to take care of. Alright. So, I'd say we're going to go for a wooden flooring here, simply because our colony has so darn much wood, and, well, why not? Keep in mind, though, wooden flooring ain't necessarily the best idea in the first place, because wood is highly flammable. That means, oh, our duck can be taken back. So that means your room will be always endangered to battery power leakages that just light up rooms. But at the end of the day, wood is also a very available resource here. Usually I would go for stone, but I figured that I wanted to do something different. So that's going to be the start here. It's going to take a while until that's done. But since we have now assigned our people into the field hand job a little bit more, and little Cobb here is learning his job as constructor as well, I'm pretty sure we'll be getting there in no time. So that's the end of today's episode. We have now learned a little bit more about how to raid places, and we will next set up this little thing as a more noble place. I just want already to pinpoint that nobles will require other rooms to live at, and that's something you really got to pay attention to. And the rest, well, we had a little bit of a fighting scene here, that's also pretty nice. And I think next episode we will be able to get ourselves into the whole clothing aspect. I'm going to talk about the quest there, so let's accept that quest before I forget it, because I tend to forget things like these. And yeah, when everything goes as intended, we're going to have a acolyte in no time here going. So thanks for watching, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this so far. We're going to continue next time with the things I mentioned. I guess we might be even building ourselves some nice guns. Nice stuff. So feel free to leave a comment down below. Let me know what kind of topic you want to see featured here as well. Leave a thumbs up on that video if you enjoyed, and of course consider subscribing. There's daily content coming up from my side, and if you liked that one, chances are you like the rest of the stuff I do as well. So you'll also find a playlist link down there and a link to support this channel, or I should rather say a handful of links. So go and check them out. I'd be really, really happy if you did, and a big thanks to all the supporters out there of this channel. You are truly, truly making me happy. So have a good one, and see you guys next time. Bye bye.